Hello, 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 people. How are you? Happy Friday. Hello, 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 people. Happy Friday. The screen looks darker. Don't know why. Yeah, I really don't know why. Is what it is. What's up, Sin? Hello, Mohammed. Alaikum salam. Hey, David. Sandy. I see, girl, you are ready for the battle. What's up, Dad Jokes? Good morning. How are you guys? What's up, Lanny for Humanity? Folks, make sure that you say hello when you come in. That way I can say hello back. It has been, all of 2 days since I've seen you. Conchita, Sharon, Cheryl, good to see you. DJ. Hello to the other Cheryl. What's up, Amy, Yari, Nini? Appreciate you. Athena, Sunflower, Fish, Slim Lady, J Bird. Good to see you guys. Yes, Cindy, I could tell. Very much so. I could tell. Good morning, Farah. What's up, Brandy? Good morning, Anti-Fascist. Good morning, Eric. Hey, Ada. How are you? Folks, if you are joining me on the Tube of You, the stack of sub, or the book of faces, make sure that you say hi so I can say hello back to you, because I don't get to see you guys when you populate like I do over here on the Tick of the Talk. What's up, Rebel? Good morning. Hey, Tammy, how are you? Y'all doing good? Everybody's good? Y'all know what I'm doing. I'm looking around for lotion again because, I forgot. I don't know where it is. It's going to be all right. Good morning, Willow. How are you? Everybody is good? I hope you guys are well. So things that I want to make sure that I talk about, and there goes me dropping paper. It's okay. It is all right. Let me just grab a different notebook. It's okay, right? I'm just going to rock with how things happen today and let it be what it will be. Why am I doing the exact same thing right when you said that, Tristy? I have no idea. Good morning, Tara Love. What's up? What's up? Good to see you over there on the Tube of You. Good morning, Funny Face. What's up, Pink, Nikki, Red Hot, Tina Noel, Kat, good morning. Hey, Nor, it's dry. Yeah, listen, the struggle is bad. What's up, Mel Gray? Hey, Deborah. Receive Grace, Witch, good to see you guys. So listen, I'm in a fantastic mood despite the fuckery that we are living in. It's gonna be okay. Good morning, Lisa. Oh, it's raining, like it's like gray and raining and today, but it's okay. It does not reflect my attitude. Yeah, Marnie, it's not good. What's up, K-Law? Yeah, so it's not beautiful weather, but that's okay, right? As you can tell, I I finally managed to color and cut my hair yesterday, so I don't have on a bandana or a hat, right, which is great at this point. Cheryl, yeah, you do have a booth this evening, so yeah, it matters. What's up, Audra? Thanks, Pink Nikki. I appreciate it. I prefer it when it's short. Yeah, but I didn't want to go any shorter on top. My top is pretty long just because it comes down into the bangs, but the sides and the back are all pretty short. Yeah, I had to break out the clippers and the scissors yesterday and get to snipping because it was out of control. I was not happy. What's up, the other Cheryl? Good to see you guys. Hello, John. All right, so folks, listen, things that I would like for you to do that could be very helpful to me. What's up, Blue Nevada? I appreciate you, Audra. Pop up here if you are on the TikTok and make sure that you hit the red heart. It costs you 1 coin. And then make sure that you hit it again and then claim your points so that you can level up in the community. That would be greatly appreciated. Today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, your girl is engaging in her first TikTok battle. I am doing it with Abu Saraj. He is the Gazan man, the favorite Gazan man. Appreciate you, Carla. So if you can join on TikTok and help us defeat him, that would be amazing. One of the things that helps is when the people are gifting, those are things that can absolutely help him out. So the more competitive we can make this, yeah, Carla, ready to take him out. Then, he talks a ton of smack. But listen, K-Law, I shut his ass up the other day Listen, let me tell you, Kayla, we were just talking. Like it was just like, thanks, Lisa. We were just chatting, right? I was on, it was his live, and Money was on, I was on, and we were talking about the upcoming battle, right? And so he was talking smack. I feel like I need to like make my camera brighter, but maybe not. So anyway, he was just running his mouth, blah, 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 right? And then he made the mistake of saying something about it being like a zoo. He said something about it. It's going to be like a zoo or some shit like that. And Kayla, I said, are you saying that because I'm black? When I tell you, he shut all the way up. He shut up. He was like, huh? Like, he was like, I don't know what to say. And Amani was like, damn, Dani. And I was like, well, I'm just saying, good morning, mama. How are you? Oh, hey, mom. So I went today and I got, well, I'm not going to tell you what I got, but I got something and I'm going to send it back with Doug for you. So I have one of your other gifts already here, but I got something to do something for you to send back. So you'll get it when he gets back. Cass, yeah, she's okay. So did somebody say one of your gloves disappeared? Oh shit, you only have one? Okay, so maybe we'll do like a fake battle before that just so we can get some gloves. Maybe we'll do one. Right, just show me the line to cross. Right, Kay. And once I did it, I was like, too easy, drill sergeant, too easy. And he didn't even realize like how much of a diss that phrase was until somebody explained it to him when I said, too easy, drill sergeant, too easy. So now I know how to just like shut him down. Okay, so I'm going to make a list of things that we are going to talk about today so that everyone is prepared and ready to go. Okay, so first, there's a lot of talk going around about this $310 million lawsuit that was filed in Palm Beach County against Donald Trump. And it includes Bill Gates, the Bill Gates Foundation, and it includes Elon Musk. And yep, I'm going to update you guys on that in just a second as well. And so I'm going to talk about that. I have it pulled up. I'm a little pissed. My computer keeps jamming as I'm trying to print the 149 pages. So I'm just not going to be able to read it from regular paper today. And I don't know why this printer just all of a sudden started jamming, but it is. And so, yeah, he did. Okay. But I want to talk about this case and what it is not. And I'm going to share with you my perspectives on it. You don't have to agree. Good morning, Ramona. I don't expect anybody to agree with me. And I'm going to share with you my thoughts. I'm going to go over the document with you. I don't like the way that some people are framing it because they're not framing it accurately. And I am more interested in facts than I am hoopla and salaciousness. And so we're going to focus on it from a very fact-based perspective and talk about that lawsuit. So that's number one. $310 million lawsuit, Donald Trump. That's number one. Okay. I'm making myself notes so that I don't miss all the things I want to talk about today. Next, I need to talk about the CDC. And I need to talk about the Hep B vaccinations and their new asinine, ridiculous, very dangerous recommendations. Yeah, I don't know if you all saw that this morning, but yeah, that's a great deal of fuckery that should absolutely make everybody go, you have got to be kidding me. But we're going to talk about the Hep B. Yeah, Sandy, I do. I have hard stops. Well, let me just say this. It's not necessarily a hard stop. This is the way that we got to think about it. I either have a hard stop at 2:10 to get Bella off the bus, or I'm going to need some people to come up on the panel and hold space while I go get the girls off the bus. And then the live can continue to flow. So it's going to be one of those two things as the option today. Okay. Because it's Friday, which means I have to get them off the bus. So that's number two is going to be CDC. And yeah, I saw that. Blessed. That's something that, what's up? Salam, DJK. We'll talk about that in a second. But number three, I need to talk about the Department of Education and a federal judge saying to the Department of Education, yeah, no, you have to give out the funds that you're supposed to give to folks. Oh, DJK, don't come in here already. I am not ready to talk shit to you just yet. Good morning, facts people. Welcome, Steve's people. Glad you guys are making your way on over. I've been live for literally like 10 minutes. Yeah, listen. Okay, so let me just say this, folks. Today, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, I love that. Thank you, facts. I'm going to be in my first battle today. And as you can see, DJK is already in here running his lips. So if you value me and what I do, and you would like to help me in my battle, shut these men up from running their mouths, yippity yip yip yipping, then please show up. Be ready to drop some magic beans so we can smash this battle. If you've got gloves, bring them to the fight. Let's make it happen. I'm all about that life, right? They like to talk shit because they know this is my first TikTok battle. And so I don't really know like all the things, but I'm just letting them know, like, here's what I don't do. Welcome, Steve's people. I'm glad you guys are coming over. So 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me right here on the Tick of the Talk so we can kick their asses. So just saying, don't come in here starting with me already, DJK. Don't do it. Don't do it, son. I'm just saying. Next. Okay, so $310 million lawsuit with Trump. We're going to talk about that. Next, we have to talk about the CDC and the Hep B recommendations and the fuckery. And the dude that they just put in charge, by the way, is not even, he's not even a board certified physician. You can't make this stuff up, but we have to talk about how dangerous this is and what makes a difference. I want to talk about Republicans and Mike Johnson and what he asked them to do after MTG came for their asses wide open. I don't know how many of you all saw this. Yep, we got to talk about immigration overall, which includes Minnesota and which includes Somali individuals. And we have to talk about the rhetoric coming out of the mouth of the president of the United States of America. And we have to call a thing. So let me just be very clear that I will not be mincing my words today in any way, shape, or form. So if you have an issue with calling a thing, buckle up, Buttercup, because you're going to have a rough day. Okay. Because the president of the United States is using very inflammatory, very derogatory, very racist language. And we're going to talk about all of that. Yep, honey bear, I know. Yep, I know. And so we have to talk about immigration. And I'm just going to tell y'all something. In my opinion, and this is an article that I'm writing today, ICE is nothing but the new Triple K. ICE equals Triple K, period. And so it just is what it is. I don't know how many of you all saw the videos of the U.S. citizen in her nursing scrubs being yanked out of her car, and she is screaming, "Why are you doing this to me? I am an American citizen." Why? And they are refusing to look at her. They're refusing to look at her ID. They're refusing to. Let me tell you something, folks. That is nothing but the fucking slave patrol. And somebody's got to start calling it exactly what it is. And so I'm happy to be that person today. Okay. So we're going to talk about immigration, ICE. I don't care. It could be her boyfriend, baby daddy, granddaddy, grandpa. I don't even care. The bottom line is, if you are looking for someone that is undocumented, then you need to have a warrant with somebody's name, with somebody's driver's, with somebody's, like, a judge signed on it, all of that. When someone says to you, "I'm an American citizen," and you don't stop dead in your tracks and look at their documentation, if you don't do that, then we just have to call a thing, period. So be mad at me, say whatever you want to say about me. This is not a race card. This is called reality. So if you don't run around acting racist, I won't bring up the race card, right? It's not a race card when I'm simply telling you about the deck you're playing with. If the deck that you're playing with is racist, then guess what? That's the only card there is to play. Okay. So that would be next on the agenda. And did I already mention the Department of Education? Department of Education, a federal judge. Yeah, we know. Oh no, Sarah, there's no way to know how many ICE officers are also IDF. I mean, I think that people need to remember that, you know, we have police departments throughout the entire United States that go to Israel and train with the IDF. We have leadership that go over there that are trained by the IDF. So, I mean, I think it doesn't matter like the number of them that are actually IDF. I think it's just the understanding that our police force has been being, you know, trained by the IDF for years upon years now. Oh yeah, that's a thing. The links are in my bio, but I'll pull up some of them as well so that you can see them. So, and then of course we have to talk about Gaza, the West Bank, and Palestine, because that's what we do here in this space. Okay, so the weight from just my list, I have 7 things that I know have to be covered today, and that's before we even get into like just plain out politics. However, I want to talk about something with you guys. I was reading an article. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up. I want to share something with you all that, oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. So the thing about the Department of Education actually ties into 2A, pew pews, and education all together. So give me 1 second. I need to pull up this article because do you know what I would like for us to do? I would like to see one entire week where the press was not allowed to use the words Republican, Democrat, Biden, or Trump. That's what I would like. I would like to have it so that the press could not use any of that language. And let me share with you why. So a federal judge has denied the Trump administration. So I need you all to understand the Trump administration, the president's administration, current president's administration, had appealed to a federal court because they did not want to give funding for mental health workers in schools. How many of you all know that this is a thing? That the current administration literally was going to the courts saying, please, we don't want to give funding to schools for mental health workers and wraparound services for students, right? You guys know that, right? So the federal court said, yeah, nah, we're denying your stay. So the Trump administration had said, we're not giving you all funds, right? We're not giving funds for mental health workers in schools. And so they ended up going to court, and these schools were saying, hey, no, listen, this will be so horrible. It will hurt our most vulnerable of students. And we need a stay of this thing, right? So anyway, long story short, the Trump administration got told no today, right? Or yesterday, whatever day it was. And so they have to turn these funds over. Now, let me tell you the part about this that I did not like about the way that the story was told. Okay, you got it? So the way that the story was written was to this effect. So the story was written and it said that this was an initiative that was started under the Biden administration. And I wish they hadn't said that, because here's what's important about this initiative. Do you know when this initiative was started, when this program was started? Do you know when it was actually? Instead of saying the Biden administration, can we talk about what actually happened that caused this to take place? Yeah, that's crazy, Megan, but you love that. No, Uncle Christopher, he hasn't. It actually happened. No, it actually happened after Uvalde. It happened after Uvalde. It was a direct, it was a, listen, guys, it was a direct result of after Uvalde took place. So this was a program that happened after Uvalde to ensure that schools were equipped to have mental health counselors and people to help children and protect children, not just from school pews, but from anything else that they might need, which in the world that we adults have created for them is really important, right? So it was after Uvalde. Now, this is the most in this is statement of DOJ office. Yeah, just delete it. Okay, so here, 2021. So this is the part that's important about this. Whenever you read an article and it says it was done under the Biden administration, what happens to a particular group of people that are reading that information? As soon as they hear done under the Biden administration, what do they hear? They hear partisanship automatically. Oh, Biden did it, has to be bad. But what if we never said that? What if we said that the United States of America implemented a program following one of the worst school pews in the entire country, right? To ensure that our children and our staff members had adequate mental health support following a mass pewing? What if we just said that? Would anybody be able to hear that and think, oh, that's a horrible thing, we shouldn't do that? What would be the viable argument against that program? There's not one, right? There's not an argument against that. But if I write the article and the article says, oh, this was a program done under the Biden administration, does it matter? Does it matter what administration did it? Or does it matter what it does and what's the benefit? Little Redzilla, I disagree. Right? And I wish that people would stop doing that. People should stop saying things like, oh, they still wouldn't care. That's not true. Will there be some people that still wouldn't care? Sure, because some people are assholes. But the vast majority of people do care about children. When they're not being manipulated, when it's not being politicized, when they're not having their religious or racist buttons pushed, most people do. And that is why framing and wording is so important. Good morning, Lori. This is why framing and wording is so important, because it doesn't matter what administration did it. And what matters is that the current administration wants to undo something that's to the benefit of our children and our staff. Listen, okay, so let me just tell you something. I'm a bit of a Trevor Noah fan. I miss him on The Daily Show, and I'm not taking anything away from Jon Stewart, but there was a way that Trevor Noah did and said things that I just found really appealing and effective, right? And he said something the other day that was so impactful, or he didn't say it the other day. I watched the clip of him saying it the other day, right? And here's what he said. He said, oftentimes, he said, when we talk about, yeah, me too, Miss Natasha. So he said, we always talk about, we want to make sure our children are well educated, right? We always talk about educating our children. Salam Ashton, he said, but you know what we tend to do? Hey, Daniel, he said, we talk about educating our children, but then we don't think about the educators, the actual teachers. Like when we talk about we need to educate children, we often miss investing in the people who are actually educating the children. And who are the educators that educate the educators? And he said, this is what's so crazy about this. He said, it's like the bucket syndrome. Listen to what he said. He said, oftentimes we are so interested in pouring into the bucket and pouring resources into the bucket that we forget about the bucket itself. And the bucket has holes in it and cracks in it. And so the stuff that we're pouring in is just leaking out because we're so focused on pouring in, we're not focused on the structure of the bucket. We're not focused on making sure that we have a good bucket, that the bucket is solid, that the bucket's the right size, that the bucket is waterproof, that the bucket is, you know what I'm saying? And it just made so much sense to me. I was like, he's exactly right. How can you expect to educate children? How can you expect for children in the United States of America to have the best education in the world if you're not providing them the best teachers in the world? And you can't have the best teachers in the world if you're not paying them a competitive wage. Notice I did not say livable wage. I did not say thriving wage. I said competitive wage, because competition is how you get the best, right? And for all of you guys that get ready to fix your mouths about it shouldn't be, oh, you don't say that when it comes to your favorite NFL player. You don't say that when it comes to your favorite NBA player. You all understand that whoever is negotiating the contracts and getting them the best deal and the best money and the best perks gets the best athlete. It is the same way with our teachers. Hello, Raja. It is the same way with our teachers. We need to look at recruitment of our teachers the same way we look at the NFL and the NBA. Right? Are we skimping on the training camps for the NFL? Do we skimp on equipment for the NFL? Do we skimp on trainers? Do we skimp on, cups and helmets? Do we skimp on any of that? No. So instead of us having the newest Mercedes-Benz, Verizon, AT&T, Amazon field, stadium, or whatever, why don't we have the next Verizon sponsored library? Why don't we have the next Mercedes-Benz sponsored IT center in schools? Why don't we have, come on, why don't we have that? Whew. Right. Imagine if we had scouts for teachers. Imagine if we had agents for teachers. Imagine if teachers had agents. And you can't talk to me. You got to talk to my agent, because that's how great a teacher I am. These are my recommendations from my prior students. Marky Mark, what are you talking about? We're not discussing unions. We're not talking about unions right now. Try to pay attention. We're not talking about unions. We're talking about education. Try to focus. Right, Daniel, exactly. Why? And so first of all, let's don't come in here and tell me what I should be doing, because that might get you, that might not end up the way that you would want it to end up. But come on up to the panel. Let's have a conversation, Marky Mark. Since you think you know what I should be doing. You should. Oh, Lord. Good morning, Carla. Where are you at, Marky? I sent you an invitation. Go on and join the panel. Yeah, it tickles me. Exactly, Daniel. So, Marky Mark, I don't know if you understand how unions work, but you join the union after you get the fucking job. You actually have to work for them before you get to join the union. Good morning, Ikram. You follow me? Unions are about benefits and retention. Companies don't hire and recruit based off of unions. Companies don't even like unions. Right, Tam Bam. Marky Mark is at work and can't talk. Or he's breastfeeding his baby. Alaikum salam, Sophia. Just saying. I noticed Marky Mark went away. Good morning, Rosalind. So, folks, listen. When the whole point of this piece of this conversation is twofold. It's to talk about media representation of the actual facts of the story. And then the second part is the actual facts of the story, which is around education. Right? And I guess we could even have a third part. And the third part is about the political actions of this current administration against educators and against your children. Right? Do you all think that your children deserve? So here's my thing. Hey, Reyes, appreciate you. So here's my thing. If you don't love your kids enough to at least make their schools safe and prevent the trauma, could you love them enough to get them the damn mental health therapy that they need after you make them endure the trauma? Like, if you're not going to make schools safe and prevent trauma, oh, Marky Mark, it's YOU apostrophe RE. I think what you're trying to say is you are a Democrat, which, by the way, I'm not. But if you're gonna say it, it's not like you're. So the you're that you're using is possessive. Okay. So not only is your grammar incorrect, but your grammar is incorrect and wrong. Like, don't be loud, have bad English, and be wrong. Like, at least be wrong and grammatically correct. Don't be loud, grammatically incorrect, and wrong. Like, damn, pick one. This is why we need better education. This is why we need to be worried about the bucket. This is why. Somewhere, Marky Mark, you fell through the cracks. And somebody should have given you more support. Right? You're showing up like one of our most vulnerable, and somebody should have been there to support you. And here's my thing. I normally wouldn't be this much of a smartass, but when you're dealing with somebody like Marky Mark who wants to be the comment king, right? And then still be wrong and snarky, then yeah, I'm going to check that ass all day. And I'm saying it, Marky Mark, with all the love of Jesus. Now, the type of Jesus I'm talking about is the Jesus that was flipping over the tables in the temple. That Jesus. That's the Jesus I'm talking about. All the love of that Jesus. Yeah. That's the Jesus I'm talking about today. Or even the water at the well. You remember the Jesus with the woman at the well? When he said, your ass is like kind of a bit of a hoe because you got like 5 husbands. You remember that Jesus? That's the kind of Jesus I'm giving you today. Because in case y'all missed it, y'all should go back and read that exchange that he had with her. Because when Jesus was talking to the woman at the well, he was straight up calling her out. So I'm meeting you with the energy of that Jesus. Okay. So anyway, yeah, a little judge at the well. A little judgment at the well. So, but the thing about when I read this story, it really irked my soul for a couple of different reasons. it irked my soul because number one, the absolute audacity of this administration to try to take away funding and resources for children in school. Like, that's crazy. You and your fake live. No, it's real, honey. That's why you're in it. It's fake live. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can explain this. When something is fake, beloved, that means that it is not real. It does not exist. It is not true. Fiction. That's another word for it. Your imagination, right? So fake. The fact that I'm here talking and you're here along with the other people means that it's real. Now, real is the opposite of fake. They're not the same. Okay. So it's actually the opposite of fake. Trey. I'm just saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bless him, Jesus. Okay, so listen, let me see if I can help you out, Marky Mark. They go, so the names of them, it can be either Q-tips, cotton swabs. What else do they call them? Hold on, let me see. Let me see. Yeah, cotton swab, cotton bud, or even just Q-tip. All of those are the same words for the things that you put right here. Now, be careful. Don't stick it too far in, and you just clean your ear out. And if you do that, you might be able to hear. I don't know if you'll comprehend any better, but it will help you hear like actual fact. Bless it. Oh, good God. Hilarious. I mean, I'm here to help. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why people think that, like, if you talk bad about the Democratic Party, you're going to make me mad. I am not a member of the Democratic Party. Like, be mad all you want. Listen, that's like coming to my house and making mama jokes about somebody else's mama. I don't care. Like, so listen, Natasha, I had to tell AI to spell it correctly 3 times today. They were struggling. Yeah, they were struggling today. Okay, so today, every time we talk about a subject, I'm gonna give you an ask. I'm gonna share with you a task to do in response to that. So here's what I would like to do. When we talk about education and we talk about removing mental health funding and funding for mental health workers in our school systems, right? This isn't something that is ridiculously important. So the ask here is to contact your local school board, your local board of education, and find out how much funding you get from specifically for mental health workers. Find out how your school and your system allocates those funds. How many people have been hired with that funding to provide those resources to your students? How do they determine which students get access to those resources? Chris said, I need a notebook. Yeah, a lot of people come in here with notebooks. So that's number one. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today in reference to this issue is we are following up with our local board of education, our local school district. And we are asking that school district, do they get funding specifically for mental health workers in schools that was developed after the Uvalde mass pew-pewing? And if so, how much money do they get? How is it allocated? How many workers have been hired with that funding? Which schools get it? What are the factors? What are the determinations? What are the determining factors that kind of guide them in that process? That's the ask for today around that. Okay. Now, another thing that has happened with regard to education. So while they have moved a ton of the Department of Education funding and dollars and programs into different departments across the administration, including, and most alarming, the Department of Labor, right? There are other things that have stayed within the Department of Education, right? Does anybody know what those two things are that have stayed with the Department of Education? Does anybody know what they are? So here was the question. So we know that things like Title I and other programs within the federal Department of Education are being moved out to different departments across the administration, including the Department of Labor, right? But what are the parts that are actually staying with the Department of Education for right now? Does anybody know? Nope. Give me a second. I'm trying to find this other part. Nope. So one is the civil rights programs. So that is actually staying under the Department of Education. So for folks, yep, and funding for special education and children with disabilities. So I think the administration saw a lot of people screaming about the IDEA law and what would happen to programs and resources and educators and accommodations. Hey, Mooney, for folks that are that have special needs. And so right now, funding and programs specifically for children with disabilities and funding for the Civil Rights Division within the Federal Department of Education, those two programs are currently staying under the Federal Department of Education. So I think the second part of that, bless him, Jesus. Listen, either bring your ass to this panel, okay, or you're going to end up getting muted because you're not following the guidelines. It specifically says don't type in all caps. And the reason I ask that is because all caps is reserved for my moderators and my folks that are vision impaired. Okay. And since you are neither of those two things, Marky Mark, I need you to follow the guidelines. Like, don't be an asshole and not follow 4 simple guidelines in here. Okay. Or you could just be a big boy and join the panel. I will be gentle. I promise. No, I may or may not. I may or may not. It depends on how you behave. But I promise that I will only match energy. So if you come correct, then I will handle you correct. Yeah, I just had to catch myself. I wasn't about to lie today. I wasn't about to lie. Right, Daniel, AI being vulnerable. So I appreciate it, David Jenkins. What's up, Kelly? Just Marky Mark be in here behaving like the funky bunch. Yes. Yes. Department of Labor. So yes, in invisible string. So what's happening is a lot of our programs under the Department of Education are being sent over to the funding is being sent to the Department of Labor. What's up, Doug? And so here's the problem with that is what we are going to have is we are going to have some of our children that are at the greatest risk that are now going to be on this pipeline to labor force rather than achieving their highest potential. And they will frame it under things like, oh, we're looking out for their talents, right? So, oh, this kid's really talented in welding or digging in the dirt. So we're going to have them go over here and mine for the newest shit we need for technology. So listen, this country, we have seen this be something that has been introduced across the country by state, I'm just saying, Republican state legislatures where they want to lower the age, the working age for our children, as if child labor is something that we should be striving for. And it is not. For anybody that has this idea that that would be a good thing, thanks, but no thanks. We know better, right? Some of us have actually lived through history and decided to learn from it. Some of you all seem to be aggressively, going after regression. And some of us are just like not on board for that. So no thanks. Like thanks, but no thanks. We're not down for it. So the other part that you want to be right, we chose to learn from it, right, Dan Jones? And that's the thing. People are acting like we haven't already learned. Appreciate you, the boss. Some people act like we haven't learned that child labor is bad. So let me just, so that you all understand, the reason they are not worried about our workforce while they are busy going after immigrants, quote unquote, along with citizens and anybody else. What's up, Tim Burke? The reason they are not worried about that is because they intend to absolutely go after your children and other at-risk communities to fill in those gaps. You can best believe they are not looking for the rich, white, and wealthy to go fill those jobs. They're not. They are looking for those that are economically disadvantaged. They are looking for those that, are already vulnerable, that live in communities that have the hardest time achieving access to opportunity. And do you want to know why? Listen, this is probably not the best way to say this, but for lack of a better word, they are looking to pimp your children out for work. Not as in schmeck's work, but as in physical labor work. All the stuff that they try to frame people, I'm just saying they absolutely are. Yes, Title I is going to Department of Labor. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so here it is. So under the Trump administration's executive orders, the largest federal education funding stream, which is Title I for low-income students, is going from the Department of Education to the Department of Labor. And it says to align education with workforce development. Hey, good morning, Jerry. Did y'all hear that? They want to, quote unquote, align education with workforce development. Now, do you want to know why this will be more easily digested by these communities? because these communities are being hurt by the programs that this administration is cutting, like Medicaid, right? Like SNAP, like the healthcare subsidies not being extended. And so these families will need the income. And so this idea of having your 15-year-old, 14-year-old be able to bring in additional income as part of their quote unquote education will be appeasing. It'll be appealing to some families because they need to survive. So they are literally creating a scenario where you have lack in order to exploit your children to provide the labor. It's on the Department of Education's website. It's literally on their website. Yeah, you're welcome, Chris. But let me say that again to you all. This is not an accident, and I want you to understand that they know what they're doing. Do you remember like a couple of months ago when one of Donald Trump's staffers got caught on a hot mic saying chaos is our strategy, or crisis is our strategy? Do y'all remember? Because it's off of a movie. Okay, so what they are doing is they create crisis and then they develop these programs to make you susceptible to fill the need. If they put you in crisis, you will be willing to do desperate things. Now, that what's funny to me about this, not funny as in ha funny, but funny as in ironic and you're a really shitty person, is this is the same thing that they bash the corner boys in your neighborhood for doing. Right? Except the corner boys didn't create the neighborhood. The corner boys didn't put in the ABC store and the grocery store and the church and the this, right? That didn't happen, did it? No. But what do? They make it seem as if these people are exploiting your children. Guess what? Corporate America and your government are exploiting your children and your families. Period. Yep, Will Scharf, Jay Nice, that's his name. Exactly, Mel Gray. We're the only ones who can solve the problem we created. But I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying it, okay? Just because you are in a corporate suit sitting in a corner office doesn't mean you're not a corner boy. You're just an executive corner boy selling shit that is still costing people their lives. Just to be clear, you're sitting in corner offices in corporate suits doing corner boy shit that costs people their lives. Whether you're denying them their health insurance, whether you're denying them the treatment and the health insurance that they need, or the medication that they need, or whether you're setting the prices so high they can't afford them. It's the same thing. So, Calto, what here in the States, like when they talk about corner boys, most often they are referring to people that live in lower economic communities, and they might sell the devil's lettuce on the corner. Or in some neighborhoods, they might be selling schmeth to people, right? Illegal party favors. Got it? And so those are what they refer to as corner boys, because those are the boys out there selling the stuff, right? In my opinion, we have corner boys that are just sitting in corporate offices, in corner offices, in corner suits, and I mean in corporate suits, and they're doing worse things than those corner boys are on a grand scale, but it's hidden under the guise of business. It's excused under the guise of business, right? That's it. And we have to stop acting like in this country that business is an excuse to do harm. We have to stop acting like doing business allows people to check their morals and their values and just the basic golden rule at the door, right? Because it's not the case, y'all. Stop making a separation between the way that you show up in this world on an average day and the way that you show up in the world when you are conducting business. There's no difference. In every situation, you should be doing what? Treating other people the way you want to be treated. Period. That should be the bare minimum. Space Ranger, I can't with you. Who is Connor? Oh my God, that was so great, Cindy. Cindy just said, who is Connor? That was great. That was really good. 62% of charters are Title I. That's interesting to note, Rachel. Yeah, Chef Ryan. But listen, he can yap, yappity yap. All he's doing is boosting that algorithm. We appreciate you putting in the hard work. All them damn comments. Do. Go, Marky Mark. Boost the algorithm, Marky Mark. Boost the algorithm, Marky Mark. Go, Marky. Go, Marky. Go, Marky. Go, Marky. Oh my gosh. Too funny, y'all. Oh, okay. So I got a chance. That's one off my list, y'all. So we have very effectively covered the things that I wanted to point out about the Department of Education. Okay. The oh, I love that. I'll make your lunch break. But seriously, these are the things that you want to be asking your Board of Education about. Right, Amy? Sweet 8-pound baby Jesus. They want the kids for labor. Yes, Lori, they want the children for labor. And the way that they are phrasing it is that they're going to find these children's talents and align them with workforce development. It is a straight fake education to manual labor pipeline. So you have the school to prison pipeline, you got the school to production pipeline, you got the school to, workforce pipeline. So the crazy thing about that, folks, is that, this is the largest stream of funding for education, and it's now going to be managed by the Department of Labor. What does the Department of Labor know about educating and funding education? They don't. This is what happens when you put the WWE's grandmama in charge of all of that. Just so everyone is clear. Right. So whoever doesn't get, you got it. Okay. All right. So next, should we dig into this $310 million? Nene, we don't know that he is. Girl, that's just a profile picture. Yeah, hospice nurse Shawnee. I had to take Bella to down to her specialist. That's about an hour and a half away. And so we had to go see her pediatric pulmonologist yesterday. So, and by the time I went and checked her out of school, drove down, fed her, got her testing done, and then fed them, and then drove all the way back, it was like a whole ass day. It was like 8 hours total. So Um, yeah, I would imagine that he absolutely is frolic. Hey, Jenny, good morning. What's up, Beach Bum wannabe? Um, all right. So let me just go ahead because I know some of you guys are going to be asking questions. You guys came in here asking questions about Bella, and you all oftentimes will hear her in the background coughing while I'm live. And so let me just go ahead and give you guys a little bit of information. You're worried, Deborah. Um, so, a lot of times you guys will hear Bella cough and y'all want to give me every home remedy that there is. And I did. So long story short, first, let me say this. We did get answers yesterday, which I'm very grateful for. Yeah, it's not croup. Everybody thinks it's croup. Everybody, I mean, listen, Chris, everybody is like, oh my God, it sounds horrible. And we keep asking her, does anything hurt? Because it sounds like it hurts her chest and everything. So here's the thing. Bella was 1 pound, 3 ounces. For those of you guys who do not know, she was a micropreemie at birth. So she does have chronic pulmonary disease from being a micropreemie. Okay. She also has asthma. And sometimes those things show up the same. So there's 2 parts to what's going on with her because she's had this cough since August. And we've done a plethora of interventions. Like I've taken her to the pediatrician at least 4 or 5 times since August. And we've done everything from steroids for her lungs, Aziz, to good gosh, I don't know, to inhalers and antibiotics and all the stuff. Like we've done everything. And so finally we went back down to see her pediatric pulmonologist. And so they were listening to her yesterday and she said, that sound right there sounds like tracheomalacia. Does anybody know what tracheomalacia is? Because I didn't until yesterday. Hopefully he sleepwad me. So tracheomalacia is where your trach, basically the muscles in your trach are looser or more flexible than they should be. So when you cough, instead of it staying round like a circle, they collapse a little bit. Your trachea collapses into an oval and it makes the air push out harder and makes it sound like that wolf kind of that seal kind of barking sound. So that is what's making the sound be the way the sound is the tracheomalacia, which is prevalent in micropreemies, okay? Especially those who are intubated for a while. And Bella was intubated for a bit. She was in the NICU for 91 days, right? And so next, in addition to that, I should put a sticker up, shouldn't I? In addition to that, the key is, but what's also causing the cough? And so she is in a new school this year that was newly constructed. There's also construction going on around by her. And they think that all of those things is what is triggering the cough. So now we know why the cough sounds the way it is. And we believe we know what's triggering the cough. So we changed her from albuterol because albuterol can actually make tracheomalacia worse. So we have a new inhaler that I pick up for her today. We also have a different medication on her. Thank you, blessed and grateful. Because if any of you have anybody that's on Dalera that uses Dalera is actually on national back order. So they switched us to an alternative. Thanks, Raja. I cut it myself yesterday. So they switched her to that. And so, yeah, Dalera is on national back order. So they switched us to something else that I also pick up today. And then they overnighted her 2 new masks for her as an effective delivery system for the new medicine. Next, in 2 weeks, depending upon how things are going, if we still have this then they are going to schedule her for a scope to actually check out the airway with the tube, right? And then depending upon how loose that airway is and how much that trachea collapses, worst case scenario, they have the ability to stent her trach to keep the walls from collapsing. So hopefully we won't have to go that far, but we're gonna see how the rest of this goes. So the thing that I'm happiest about is we can actually put like a finger on it and have some new things to try. So yeah, so that's the deal. So I appreciate you guys asking about my girl, but you all can rest assured now she does not have croup or any of that. But yeah, and I love her pediatric pulmonologist. Her pediatric pulmonologist is amazing. Like, she's just dope. I love her so much. She's fantastic. So anyway, yeah, it's a great start, and it's good compared to where we were. So yay. And then as a treat, because she got some chest x-rays and stuff yesterday too, but then as a treat, I took her to a rolled ice cream joint. Y'all know what I'm talking about, where they pour the cream and like literally flatten it out on this really cold surface, like a slab. And then they roll it and they chop up all the stuff in it. So I took the girls, and this was their first time doing that. And so they loved it. Yeah. Bella got toasted marshmallow ice cream with brownie bites in it and chocolate drizzle. Yeah, it's like a Cold Stone, but this was like a mom and pop, like local store. And then Mila got blue raspberry cotton. No, she got blue cotton candy with gummy bears and multicolored sprinkles. Yep, it's like hibachi for ice cream. So yeah, so that's what they got yesterday, and so they did really great. They did really great. So I was excited for them and all of that kind of thing. So yeah. So anyway, everybody is all caught up. You've now been updated on Bella, and yeah, she loves her cotton candy, Sin. Yes. So let me tell you now, Bella is normally the rainbow girl in everything that she wears, but when it comes to her, she will do a birthday cake kind of ice cream every now and again. Other than that, that girl is going straight for the chocolate, the peanut butter, the brownies, the toasted marshmallow. That's her jam, and she's in it. Somebody asked me what I got. So I got butter pecan with real pecans chopped up in it, and a Reese cup in with a butter pecan. That's what I got. Okay. All right. So no, it's a question. Do you see the question mark? It's a question mark. Dom's doing great, Doug. Dom's doing great. Yeah. Yep, he's doing fantastic. Yeah, I love butter pecan. Okay, so anyway, and here's what I loved about it is that it was a local mom and pop shop, and so they were just like really great, and they pulled stools up in front of it so the girls got to watch them make it. They were just really attentive and fantastic, and so it was really good for them. So he does, Linda. Dominic's birthday is Tuesday. He will be 12. He will be 12, which is crazy, but yeah, he'll be 12. So I'm excited for him. All right. Next on the list. Are you guys ready to dive into this court case? Because I'm afraid if I don't, I won't have enough time to get all the way through it. So, let me get through this court case. Let me get to this court case for you guys. Okay. So here's the thing that I want you all to understand. So first of all, this court case is tied to two others. So this is the $310 million lawsuit that has been filed against Donald Trump in Palm Beach County. And the video that I made it because someone had tagged me in another content creator's post with regard to this lawsuit. And I am not interested in salaciousness. I like facts. And the way that people took this headline. So here was the headline by Raw Story. Okay. Let me just give you the headline. Uh, Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I just okay, so Raw Story had you're welcome, Witch. I appreciate you guys caring about my girl and asking about Miss Belly. So here's what I didn't like. There is a very prominent content creator that took this headline, posted it on their social media, and their hundreds of thousands, maybe even million followers saw it. Lots of people commented, lots of people shared. And here is the headline. The headline was, quote, Trump hit with $310 million suit alleging trafficking scheme tied to Epstein style claims. Now, here's what I don't like about that is that makes it seem as if Trump has been hit with nope, their name starts with a D. And it makes it seem as if Trump is being hit with a schmex trafficking lawsuit, right? When it says that it is similar to Epstein in quote unquote every, I don't like that because that's not actually what this suit is about. And I think what a lot of people should have done is look at not just this lawsuit, but the other two lawsuits that are referenced in this lawsuit, because it just would have been helpful. So, first of all, the first thing I did was put in the headline that this person posted and pulled up the actual court document, and I read the first few pages of the court document. Why? Because that is where they lay out the charges, the factual allegations, da 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 da, whatever. And it was a salacious headline, of course, because the mention of Jeffrey was automatically going to draw people's attention. And so people got, hundreds of shares, right? Actually, like 1,000 some odd shares last time I saw, maybe a couple grand by now. But it didn't accurately represent the entirety. The other thing that I would really advise people to do, and I haven't had a chance to dig as far into it as I would like because I was traveling with Bella yesterday, but let me just say this. When you look up the other two cases, the one in Maricopa County, Arizona, and the other case that I believe is in Nebraska. If you then go ahead to look up the plaintiff's name and other lawsuit, you will see that this plaintiff has other court matters also within the last year and change. You will see that she has also asked for a protective order against someone, but you will also see that that man also asked for a protective order against her. You will see that he was granted his order of protection against her. You will see. And so this is my thing. You know how when we talk about believe women, we always say you should believe that something happened, and you should believe that something happened so that you will do the research to find out exactly what happened. Okay. And that's what I think that people would be wise to do. Because here's my thing. I think the choice, and this is my personal opinion, I think the choice to file this lawsuit in Palm Beach because Trump has a residence there, and then choose to do it after the Epstein Transparency Act and all of those things has happened. And there's a lot of talk about Epstein files in the news and a lot of talk about Palm Beach County, and then reference Epstein in these lawsuits and say it was an Epstein style trafficking situation, I think is intentional on the behalf of the plaintiff. Now, I can't say that that's her intention. What I will say is I do not think that someone I don't think that this is the only trafficking scheme that could have been referenced as a foundation for how things occurred. Because I think the elements that they say exist that correlate to the Epstein trafficking network, I think those elements exist in almost every trafficking network, right? And so I implore people to be responsible when they share information and to resist the urge to go along with what is salacious and what sparks everybody's interest, what will get you the most shares, the most likes, the most whatever. I would just, you're free to do whatever you want. It would just be a much better world if everybody handled information responsibly. So, having said that, let me give you the gist of it. You ready? So this court case is it was filed November the 24th, 2025 in Palm Beach County, Florida. It was filed in the 15th Judicial Circuit in and for Palm Beach County, Florida. It was served by this plaintiff and on behalf of this plaintiff's child, who is a minor. Now, here's the thing. Those names are redacted in this Palm Beach County paperwork. But as soon as you go and you look up the Arizona case, you're going to see the names because they are not redacted in the court information when you look up those cases from those other states. So I just want to throw that out there to you guys very quickly because I have forgotten my water and also need to empty my bladder before I dig all the way in. Can somebody give me a real quick break just so I can do those two things, get water and empty my bladder? I don't know if Lisa's in here, Stacy's in here, Kim is in here, Cheryl's in here, one of y'all, somebody. Got you, Lisa. Appreciate you. Thank you, guys. I'll be right back. Thanks, Lisa.
Yep, no problem. Hi, guys. How are you doing today? Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to all the great information that Dani's providing. She, much like Stacy, is our voice of reason a lot of the time, right? And brings perspective to a lot of these things that we're looking at, so that we don't get bogged down in some of the nonsense. Hi, guys. Hi, Trisha. Hi, Cindy. Hello. Hi, all the Danikins in the house. So if you haven't already, please hit your heart me. It's that little heart right next to Dani's name in the upper left-hand corner. Do all the things. So send a comment. What does it say? Send a comment. Send a popular vote or whatever if you want. But make sure you go back and collect all your points because Dani doesn't get credit for that unless you collect your points. Also, tapping is clapping and is free, and that helps push Dani out to the FYP. Hi, Tam. Also, put in hashtag FYP and stuff like that in the comments, or great live, educational live, like that kind of stuff. Hi, Wadney. Hello, darling. That kind of stuff also helps. Sharing out the live. There's 154 shares. I'm sure we can get that up. We're at 287,000 likes, so I know we can get that to 300,000 if we just all tap together, right? For just like maybe the next 10 minutes, and it'll probably get up there even before that because there's almost 300 people in the room. And make sure that you're being respectful in the comments. Remember, there's no slurs. Don't spam, no all caps. That's reserved for moderators only and those who are visually impaired. Guys, I will be live tonight after Dani's battle with Abu Siraj. So I don't know how long their battle will go. I would imagine about an hour or so, but I'm not really sure how long these things are supposed to go. Dani probably doesn't know either.
Girl, I don't know.
Yeah, like A Money does it, but I mean, she usually does it for about a half hour or so.
Yeah, so I know we're doing the best 2 out of 3. That's what I know. That's all I know.
Yeah, and battles don't take very long. They're like 3 minutes each, so it shouldn't take that long. But probably 7:38, I'll be on. Stacy's working, so she won't be on with me. But I got a couple things that kind of tie into what Dani's talking about today, a court case, the Supreme Court. I'm sure you saw it, Dani, the Texas redistricting one. So I'm going to be,
But do you know what's interesting about that? Mm-hmm. I think they're actually going to fuck themselves. And
I do too.
Yeah, because the meeting was drawn after the 2024 election when the Hispanic vote had kind of leaned more right. That is not the case now.
No, it is not. It is not. And the Department of Justice had sent them Texas a letter, because at first they were refusing to redraw the maps. And they were like, oh, your maps are racially gerrymandered or whatever. And are like, you have to take these coalitions, Black and Hispanics, and remove them from the same district, because they believe that putting more Hispanics in these other districts were going to drown out the Democratic vote. But yeah, there is a lot. Yeah, I have a couple different experts that say that they are actually going to screw themselves because of the Democratic swing.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. So
it's going to be fun to watch.
Yep. Agreed. I love that. Appreciate you, Lise. Thank you for giving me the quick break. All right. So let's dive on in here. So let me just, y'all know me, we read court cases here. And we read them for comprehension and understanding, not for salaciousness and buzzwords. So this is a complaint and a motion for summary judgment. No, I'm going to be live right now, Wadney, but so this is why I'm not worried about goals and shit right now, because all the coins are being reserved for the battle tonight to kick Abu Saraja's ass. Okay, so there are 2 plaintiffs. It is this woman and her minor child. Her name is Sarah. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know, because once you look up the Maricopa County court case, like I did, you'll see her name, and you will see the name of her child, which is Josephine, right? Who was an infant at the time, but is a minor now. It is Sarah and her daughter that are listed as the plaintiffs, and it is against, Sandy has put a couple of videos out and a whole damn manual on how to fight the battle effectively. So here's what it says. It says, it is, so this specific, and here's the other thing that I think is strange a little bit, is that each of the court cases has different defendants. So like this court case, while it mentions the Gates Foundation and it mentions Elon Musk, it only has Donald Trump as the defendant in this court case, and it has him as the defendant in his individual capacity and his official capacity as president of the United States. So that's interesting. Okay, here's what it says. Complaint and motion for summary judgment incorporating prior default judgments and Epstein precedent. This is what's important about that. So she is citing the Epstein case as precedent for this particular court filing. And so this is a notice of incorporation of prior final judgments. So she has gotten some default judgments in the other states. I couldn't find them prior to this, but we'll see if it's mentioned in here, because y'all, I looked this up night before last, but I did not read 149 pages while I was traveling yesterday. Okay. So here's what it says. Complaint for, and there are 6 things. Now, here's the thing that's interesting about this. The first 2 are the only 2 where the actual statute is referenced. So I don't know what the statutes are for the other 4 alleged complaints. So the first is human trafficking, and then in parentheses, it says force, fraud, coercion under Florida statute 787.06. Now, y'all know I believe that it's really important to look up the Florida statute so that we can know exactly what we're talking about here. Because when someone reads human trafficking, they think R. Kelly, they think Jeffrey, right? This statute says this: the legislature finds that human trafficking is a form of modern day slavery. Victims of human trafficking are young children, teenagers, and adults. Thousands of victims are trafficked annually across international borders worldwide. Many of these victims are trafficked to this state. Victims of human trafficking also include citizens of the United States and those persons trafficked domestically within the borders of the United States. The legislature finds that victims of human trafficking are subjected to force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of sexual exploitation, or, and this is the part that everybody should pay attention to, forced labor, which forced labor is, from what I can tell so far, appears to be the crux of this lawsuit. Okay. It is over intellectual property. Thank you, Titan. Y'all see his tail just in everybody's face. Hi, buddy. It says, B, the legislature finds that while many victims of human trafficking are forced to work in relations for money or relations entertainment industry, trafficking also occurs in forms of labor exploitation. I love that your dad is out of surgery and doing fine, Sandy. That's awesome. Such as domestic servitude, restaurant work, janitorial work, sweatshop factory work, and migrant agricultural work. This is C. The legislature finds that traffickers use various techniques to instill fear in victims and to keep them enslaved. Some traffickers keep their victims under lock and key. However, the most frequently used practices are less obvious techniques that include isolating victims from the public and family members, confiscating passports, visas, or other identification documents, using or threatening to use violence towards the victims or their families, telling victims that they will be imprisoned or deported for immigration violations if they contact authorities, and controlling the victims' funds by holding the money ostensibly for safekeeping. So when we talk about this, I think it's important when it is referenced here that we keep in mind what that statute includes, and that it is not just, what's up, Rural Route Podcast? Good to see you. It's important for them to know that it is not just about sex trafficking, that it includes forced labor, and that appears to be the bulk of what this lawsuit is about. So here we go. It then says after that, jury trial demanded. Hey, Noel. And then it says, it lists the parties, and here are the parties. It says plaintiff, and it's redacted, plaintiff, it's redacted. And then it says defendant Donald J. Trump in his individual and official capacity as before, during, and after being president of the United States in his first presidency, whose relevant acts include, listen to this part, direct oversight of federal agencies, including DHS and DOJ, federal contract decisions, and executive authority over entities that knowingly misappropriated the plaintiff's intellectual property, which in parentheses, it's identified as safe cybersecurity platform, Abrahamic Accords defense architecture, and non-hormonal contraceptive gel, as in GEL, and that failed to prevent or actively participated in the ongoing human trafficking summarized in over 70 nationwide reports and judicial filings against traffickers from 8 years of efforts to escape, sexual coercion, and retaliatory child separation against the plaintiffs, 4 through 8. And then it says defendants, Bill Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Elon Musk, James Cook, United States Department of Homeland Security, and presidency affiliates associated with terrorism in the prior cases. Now, you have to look at those cases, and we're not there yet, but let's just keep going and relax, because here's what I want you to understand. All of this is just the summary at the beginning. You haven't gotten into any evidence. You haven't gotten into any specifics. This is just what the allegations are. And I think it's important to note, and I am not saying that this is the case with this particular court case. What is interesting to note, though, is you can sue someone and allege anything in court. In civil court, you can allege whatever. Now, you can get prosecuted if you do it right and you're lying or whatever. But it's just important for people to understand, just because this is the allegation, this is a civil court, this is being brought by one person to one person. It's not the same as, say, for example, the case against Jeffrey was being brought by the federal government. Okay. So y'all know I can't stand Donald Trump. I'm not a fan of any of these people. And facts are important. Facts are important, and it's important to just be very intentional and careful in what we say. So here's the next part. So part 2 is the jurisdiction and venue. And so what they are saying is, because Trump's residence is in Mar-a-Lago, and that DHS has, it's a civil tort. And just because DHS has operations that affect Florida and injuries have been felt in this district, that's why she's filing this civil case in Palm Beach County. Okay. Yeah, girl, notice my wording all the time. So, and then here are the factual allegations, okay, as described in this. Yeah, so just here we go. So here's what it says. The 8-year trafficking and exploitation venture that began in 2018 has continued and escalated under the current Trump administration, 2025 to present. Specifically, number 1, defendants engaged in coercion as defined by Florida's trafficking statute, which is the one we just read, by threatening or using force, restraining, isolating, or confining the plaintiffs or threatening to do so against their will. 3, causing or threatening to cause, and in bold print, she says, financial harm. And then 4, enticing or luring the plaintiffs through fraud or deceit. So those are the 4 things that they are saying fit coercion according to, that's why this lawsuit is for him as an individual and on him as president in his official capacity. And when you understand that she's talking about intellectual property, and she's talking about intellectual property that she created, that she is claiming they promised her money for and whatever, and then she is saying they took her intellectual property that she created it and they made money off of it, and then cut her out of the picture, is a lot of what she's claiming. And I want you all to remember that she's talking about Doge a lot, and she's talking about cybersecurity software. So just listen to the rest of the factual allegations. So number 2, which is actually 8, but anyway, as part of this exploitation, the defendants required or pressured the plaintiffs to produce, and this is in bold print, creative works, proprietary information, or other intellectual property. Rather than compensating the plaintiffs fairly, the defendants claimed ownership, distributed, or monetized these works without proper authorization, credit, or payment. So this would be like if I developed a computer program, and instead of paying me for my computer program, you took it as if it was your own. You distributed it to other departments, other countries. You made money off of it, and then you acted as if it was your own without my authorization. Okay. Next, it says, next it says the defendants benefited financially and politically and potentially politically from the plaintiff's labor and intellectual property, making this a, in bold print, trafficking enterprise. So listen to what she's saying, okay? Defendants benefited financially and potentially politically from her labor and intellectual property, which is what makes it a trafficking enterprise. Oh, shit. Sorry, y'all. A judge just ordered the release. Hold on. Okay, never mind. I'm going to keep going with what I got. I can't get distracted. So on, Sammy. Okay, so this is why when I read this yesterday, Chris, you were just getting ready to send it? Yeah. So listen, this part's important. So this is why I immediately was like, oh, I wish people had not put this out like it was sex trafficking, because it said that it is like Epstein, quote, in every material way. But what she clearly says is the defendants benefited financially and potentially politically from her work / labor, right? And intellectual property, making this a trafficking enterprise. Under Florida law, a quote unquote venture includes any group of 2 or more individuals associated, in fact, whether or not a legal entity. So she's covering the basis that this wasn't a company. It was just her and someone else, right? And then the next point, it says plaintiffs were deprived of meaningful control over their lives, including their creative output, finances, and future opportunities. Next point, plaintiffs tried to resist or disaffiliate, but faced retaliation, threats, or further coercion, making escape or withdrawal difficult or impossible. Intellectual property, translate to your idea. She actually developed something specific, right? So it wasn't just her idea. She actually developed something specific, and she outlines it in the case. In this case, I want you all to keep in mind, I'm just at page 3, and this complaint is 149 pages long. Okay, so give me a second, folks, and I will get there. Okay. It says, as a result of the 8-year exploitation, the plaintiffs have suffered significant emotional, psychological, financial, and reputational harm. Now, I'm going to let y'all know, I have been on this woman's LinkedIn and read, she's got all of this posted on the LinkedIn too. There's a lot, you guys. No, Rebel, this doesn't have anything to do with voting machines. Nope. It's not voting machines. She listed for you earlier what they were. She did not. Nope. This is not voting machine vibes. So listen, she says, point 1, Izzy, no, they're not. But anyway, defendant Elon Musk, acting in concert with the Trump administration via the Department of Government Efficiency, this is DOGE, has used the plaintiffs Safe, which is spelled in all caps. That means that's the proper name of her software. And she is saying that Elon Musk, acting in concert with Trump's administration via Doge, used the plaintiff's safe cybersecurity platform and her Abrahamic Accords defense architecture to secure Elon Musk over $580 billion in federal contracts while refusing to compensate the plaintiff or procure her technology via mandatory sole source FAR provisions. So she is saying that, yeah, see, y'all just was like, oh shit. So, no, not a grift. She created a technology. She is saying she is the sole source of this technology. And she is saying that Elon Musk, under the guidance and in coordination with the Trump administration, used her cybersecurity platform and her Abrahamic Accords defense architecture to get Elon Musk over $580 billion in federal contracts and then didn't compensate her. So they used her software, they used her tech to get themselves $580 billion in federal contracts, but didn't pay her. Point 2, it says, the United States Department of Homeland Security, under the direct executive authority of President Trump, has confirmed on November 26th of 2024 ongoing trafficking against the plaintiff, yet has failed to intervene or halt the venture, instead allowing continued retaliation, child separation. She's saying that they took her child, by the way, right? And intellectual property theft tied to federal programs while he oversaw them. Point 3, President Trump, through his official acts and appointments, including Musk's role in Doge and continued DHS leadership, has knowingly benefited from and permitted the venture to continue, including the use of plaintiffs' stolen intellectual property in federal defense and health initiatives, and the refusal to enforce FAR 6.302, which is the guide for sole source contracting for SAFE, which is what she made, which is her technology, despite admitted prior waste of over $400 million on failed systems. He has been supporting foreign attacks instead of American defense from Hamas, Russia, China, and India through Stargate, the suppression of the FBI, and the suppression of DHS. No, that's not the way the law works, Izzy. Tell me you don't know the law without knowing the law. Yeah, Chris, right? Yeah, let me repeat this last part. And let me just say this, folks, listen to me. When I read not only this portion of this complaint, but when I also read some of the other complaints, I have questions about her. I have questions about her claims. I have questions. So I would not be someone that would be promoting this as a 100% valid complaint. Thanks, Political Jess. I would not, I just have too many questions to be able to say, oh, I think this just sounds 1,000% credible. And I also wonder about the filings. I wonder about the filings. I wonder about the choice of states where filings took place. Like, there's just a lot that makes me go, okay. So here's that last part again. Okay. It says, he being Donald Trump, has been supporting foreign attacks instead of American defense from Hamas, Russia, China, and India through Stargate, the suppression of the FBI, and the suppression of DHS. That's a little cloudy to me. Like, when I read it, and I've read that part a couple of times, So next, retaliatory aggravated SA leading to permanent neck and spinal cord injuries, extreme stalking, judicial interference, false CPS actions, that's Child Protective Services, leading to false police report arrests and child withholding. And there's an Arizona custody order that's in here, obtained by fraud, have all continued or intensified in 2025 under the current administration's watch. Megan, I don't know that it sounds so big. It sounds cloudy and complex. It sounds complex and interwoven. Let me just say that. So then it goes on to say, yes, the CPS case is Arizona. And Rachel, so the CPS is in Arizona, but the other protective orders that I found are in Nebraska. So just listen. Hush, Rachel. So then it goes on to say, right, I know, this is why I'm saying I want people to not jump to conclusions about any part until we get more information and can connect the dots, because that's really, really, really important. Okay. Trump bypassed Congress to send over $30 billion in direct military aid to Israel through suppressing their defense of Israel in 2025. Wait. Trump bypassed Congress to send over $30 billion in direct military aid to Israel through suppressing their defense of Israel in 2025, while simultaneously endorsing the quote-unquote Gaza takeover plan. This funding facilitated what the United Nations, Amnesty International, and the International Court of Justice have described as genocidal acts against the Palestinian population, including the deliberate destruction of all remaining maternal health and contraceptive supply chains in Gaza, expressly to eliminate any possible real-world deployment zone for safe jail, which would have saved tons of thousands of women and children and exposed Stargate Gates-funded alternatives as inferior and unnecessary. So she is saying that what the Trump administration has done in Gaza was expressly being done it included deliberately destroying all remaining maternal health and contraceptive supply chains in Gaza so that there would be no path, no deliverability of her safe gel, which is a non-hormonal product. No, Rachel, it for sure does not sound like lawyers wrote this to me. It sounds like she wrote it to me or she had someone help her write it. It does not sound to me. It doesn't sound like that. So she is saying that well, she talks about destroying the supply chain. So apparently the versions of apparently there's a product, Stargate, that is based off of her called Safe Gel. Okay. She is saying that the Gates Foundation helped fund that Stargate product. She says their version is inferior to what she created. And she says the Gates Foundation's simultaneous $2.5 billion quote unquote women's health pledge in August of 2025 was used as the civilian cover for this suppression campaign. Her next point says terrorism for fear installation, including facilitating. Okay, I just want you all to listen to this point right here, and now you will understand why I said just listen. This is her next claim. And I need to remind you that these are what is listed under, these are what she listed under her factual allegations. So listen to her next factual allegation. Just listen. She says that they used terrorism to instill fear in her, including, listen, facilitating the Baltimore Bridge attack on the day her daughter was born, March 26th, using her ex, whose name is James Cook, a violent grape right before she was born to sabotage the birth as well. So she says that her ex graping her was done by them to sabotage the birth of her baby. And then a Russian cyber attack on the airports using her competitors at Microsoft through the CrowdStrike attack while taking, I'm just going to read it verbatim. This is the part where when I read this shit, this is why I was like, okay, big ass content creator with 1 million followers, you might not have used that shit the way that you did, because let me just read this bullet point exactly as she wrote it. You guys ready? I know, Chris. Listen, she believes that all of these things were being done to her by Trump and all of them. So listen. And I'm reading verbatim. This is not my language. This is her verbatim from the filing. You ready? Terrorism for fear installation, including facilitating the Baltimore Bridge attack on the day my daughter was born, March 26th, using my ex, James Cook, a violent grape right before she was born to sabotage the birth as well, and then a Russian cyber attack on the airports using my competitors at Microsoft through the CrowdStrike attack while taking my home from me in DC and trying to force me to fly home to Nebraska during that time, where he shortly after had me arrested to prevent me from filing any police reports, as confirmed by arresting police investigators of his actors. All of that is one sentence, no periods until the very end. She believes that all of these things were done to instill fear in her. She believes the bridge attack was done to instill fear in her. She believes somebody got her ex to violently grape her to try to sabotage her giving birth. She believes that there was a Russian cyber attack on airports using the CrowdStrike attack, using competitors at Microsoft. No, I can tell you right now, no lawyer wrote this. Next bullet point. Defendants and their agents. Now, here's the part where I get really confused, because in this filing, there's only one there's only one defendant listed. Well, I know her name is Sarah because I looked up the other court cases. In this filing, her name is redacted. Okay. It was filed at the end of November. What's up, the brothers? Miss you too. Yeah, it was filed like a week ago, Rachel. Sandy said she's a content creator. I don't know. I looked her up on LinkedIn. I looked it up on LinkedIn. She has a bunch of this on LinkedIn. But I also looked up the Nebraska protective order that a judge issued against her and all of this. By the way, I don't know if y'all saw or not, but somebody came for me in my video when I made a video about this court case. And I said, it's not about an Epstein-like network. It's about intellectual property and whatever. This girl pops up into TikTok comments and she was like, that's not what I remember. That's not what I just read. It was like 2 essays and you don't know what the shit you're talking about. And I was like, okay, maybe because I read to comprehend. I don't know what the fuck you read, but what I'm reading is not the equivalent of Jeffrey's court case, which I also read. So here it goes on to say this. Defendants and their agents have attempted, I don't know, blessed and grateful, I don't know. Listen, it says defendants and their agents have attempted to unalive the plaintiff on no fewer than 5 separate occasions between 2023 and November 2025, including but not limited to poisoning, vehicular assaults, and orchestrated physical attacks designed to appear accidental. Each attempt coincided with the plaintiff's efforts to report the trafficking, file police reports, retain counsel, or protect or prosecute legal actions against the defendants. Additionally, every single time plaintiff has sought legal advice, filed a new lawsuit, contacted law enforcement, or appeared in any court proceeding, defendants have immediately retaliated with escalated physical assaults. SA by who? Cyber attacks, arrests, false CPS interventions, or additional unaliving attempts, creating a clear and ongoing pattern of obstruction of justice and witness intimidation intended to prevent the plaintiff from obtaining legal redress. I mean, listen, I just want to say this, and this is just me. I am not saying that people aren't silenced and things don't happen. I'm not saying that, because I know that they do. What I also believe is that if the president of the United States or the richest man in the world wanted you to be unalived, you would be unalived. I just think they could make it happen. Call me crazy. I just, yeah. So T Money, here's what I will tell you. Virginia unalived herself, and people should stop using her name in a way, and for those types of claims. Well, you can doubt it. I can tell you her family doesn't doubt it. She has been very public about wanting to do that before. So yeah, like, let's stop with the conspiracy theories. Thanks. So here's the second part of this court document. And just in case you're wondering, I am not reading all 149 pages of this, but I wanted to read enough of it for people to get an idea of what it is and what it's not. Okay. What's up, Pentintin? Her brother has said she unaliving herself. He found her. Her brother refuted foul play. Her father briefly hinted at it. He suggested it. Her brother disputed it and emphasized her struggle with depression and the pain of losing custody of her children. So please, I don't care. Her father didn't find her. Her brother did. She was very outspoken about her struggle with depression and wanting to unalive herself, and losing her children had a dramatic impact on her. Yes, she was in a horrible accident within like a month or two of unaliving herself. See, she absolutely, yes, all of that is true. And I think it's funny to me that you just said, LOL, we will never know. So number one, the fact that you said LOL and we were talking about someone's unaliving makes you pretty fucking despicable, number one. Number two, the fact that you just said we will never know, but you just said she was unalived by someone else. So yeah, you're talking about shit you don't know, which is just, again, tells me something about you as a human being. Anyway, back to the court case really quickly. She lists two court cases. One is in Arizona Superior Court, Maricopa County. And then that court case, you guys, is against the Gates Foundation. So this is what's interesting. This particular court case is only against Trump. The court case in Arizona is solely against the Gates Foundation. I have not looked up the case in New Jersey at all, but I believe it is against Elon Musk and DHS because they sent certified mail receipts or some sort. Okay. She believes that because the defendants in those actions never appeared, never answered, and never contested her allegations in those filings, that those filings are unrebutted or admitted to for the purpose of the Florida action. So that's what she's saying. And then this is the part that I'm literally reading the court case. I'm literally reading the court case. So this is the part that everybody grabbed a hold of for their headlines. Ready? Here's what it says. The identical trafficking venture, identical perpetrators, identical victim, and identical stolen intellectual property. And then in parentheses, it says safe jail and safe cybersecurity platform are at issue here. Hold on a second. Oh, and here's the next part. So this is the part where everybody grabbed onto. It says the following facts are taken verbatim or summarized from the already filed, sworn, and unrebutted evidence in the Arizona and New Jersey cases. Point 9, Epstein identical pattern proven by unrebutted evidence. The unrebutted evidentiary record in both prior actions proves a trafficking venture identical in every material respect to the Jeffrey Epstein Schmeck's trafficking network. And then it says this, grooming of the plaintiff began in 1998, the exact year the plaintiff was born, and the exact year Epstein's Little St. James Island became fully operational. Yeah. So it's just like, right, you guys. She says use of a billionaire, quote unquote, philanthropic foundations as the primary cover and silencing mechanisms. She is saying that the Gates Foundation received the trade secrets of her safe jail in confidence in 2022. And then they announced identical initiatives in 2023 and 2025. And then this part I don't get. I believe she is referring to her ex, because, she accused her ex of violently raping her. She says coordinated essays using the identical blitz choking method documented in Epstein victim depositions. And she references the Arizona filing grape in Phoenix and New Jersey, one in 2023, one in 2025, both using choking to silence victim at the exact moment of intellectual property theft. And then it says retaliatory removal of the plaintiff's infant daughter as punishment for filing lawsuits. And she says that this is identical to Epstein's use of custody threats against mothers who sued. So do y'all understand what I'm saying about this court case? I am saying I would not be using this court case as a headline about Donald Trump being slapped with a $310 million lawsuit that's identical to Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking in every material way. That would not be a headline I would use to represent this case. As a matter of fact, I would not be talking about this case as a headline. I just wouldn't. I just, docs who? Docs who? I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean unless they're just trying to dox his ass? Docs who? There's nobody's information in here. I don't understand what you mean. Docs who? Dox him in what way? He literally wasn't even involved. He's the defendant because he was the president at the time and he oversaw Doge, and Doge, she is saying that Doge used her intellectual property to secure hundreds of billions of dollars in federal contracts for Musk. Yeah, like the only reason she is saying that Palm Beach County even has venue is because he lives in Mar-a-Lago. Like, it's just wild. And so this is what her ask for relief is. It says prayer for relief. Prayer for relief. It says, wherefore plaintiffs respectfully request that the court, number one, award compensatory damages in an amount to be proven at trial not less than $310 million. Number two, award punitive damages. Number three, order restitution and disgorgement of all profits derived from plaintiff's intellectual property by any defendant, including profits flowing to or through Stargate and technological corporation affiliates, Doge, DHS, the Abrahamic Accords, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, XAI, or the Gates Foundation. I know, Tracy, I know. That's the point that I'm making. That's the point that I'm making, Tracy, is that so there was another very well-known content creator. Somebody tagged me in their post about this lawsuit. And I was like, because first they were trying to insinuate that it was a lawsuit that was identical to Jeffrey's, to Epstein's, which it's not. It's about intellectual property, right? And I was saying to people they should stop reading this as if it's as if it's like a fact about what has happened to this woman. And let me just say this. I'm not saying nothing has ever happened to her. I'm not saying anything because I don't know. What I am saying is if there was a legitimate legal cause to go after Elon Musk or Bill Gates for stealing her intellectual property, there would be a lawyer to take that case. The same way the two boys that made Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg got an attorney to go after his ass to get compensation, right? That would be my thought process. And so I just want people to read and look into things before you just copy and paste other people's headlines and use them for yourself. Okay? Holy jeez. Right. There would be a lawyer somewhere. 100%. Okay. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I have said that from the start. Longitude and latitude, north and east. Like, one of the things that so here's my thing. I'm very careful. So here's what no, she's not a lawyer. No, you can tell she's not a lawyer. The only reason I'm even addressing this lawsuit is because there are other creators with massive followings, like massive followings, that put this story out as if it was a legitimate accusation of Trump and a trafficking like network that was just like Jeffrey's. If it wasn't for that, matter of fact, wait, if it wasn't for somebody tagging me in this content creator's post, I would have never been talking about it at all. I don't think it's a planted distraction because she's been at this for a while, Amy. When you read the other cases, like in Arizona and Nebraska and Jersey and all of that, and one of the things that also I found to be interesting, because she said that those other cases hadn't been rebutted. And here's my thing. I would find it hard to believe that someone would have legal standing and grounds to come after the Gates Foundation and their attorneys wouldn't respond. You know what I mean? Just saying. So, anyway, so that is the whole reason. Yeah, these were, and I know the others had motion to dismisses as well. But like Rachel, yesterday I was driving with Bella, so I was literally just like looking up stuff when I was on my phone in the waiting room. Well, Sharon, I think that the reason someone tagged me in this particular post is because the created that headline. Let me just see real quick. Yeah, this creator was invited to the White House. And the creator that posted that headline has been invited to the White House previously. And so I think that someone tagged me in it because they felt like if it was coming from him, then it was a lawsuit worth looking into. Does that make sense? No, it was not Harry. I'm going to read it directly from this creator's page. Are you ready? Here's what it says. What? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Trump was just slapped in all caps, slapped as in all caps, with a $310 million lawsuit in Palm Beach County alleging that he ran a quote unquote trafficking venture that was quote unquote identical in every material aspect to the one ran by Jeffrey Epstein with a big, the little emoji that has the big eyes, like that's this person's exact post. It has 15,000 interactions, and this is just on his Facebook. I'm sure on his other platforms, it's gotten way more interaction, but it has 15,000 interactions and almost 2,000 shares. So the person who tagged me in this saw it from him, and because this is someone who has on Facebook 591,000 followers, I think the person thought it was like worth investigating. Okay. And I was like, so I literally put out the little, and I commented on his post because the person tagged me in it. And people are already in the comments. I told you they were business partners. I told you da-da-da-da-da-da, and I told you da-da-da-da-da-da, right? And literally, I just commented and said, this headline is misleading, and it's actually about intellectual property and blah, 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 blah. Right. I don't know who runs it and who doesn't, Dayglow. I don't know. Here's what I would tell him is if he doesn't run it, shame on him for not having it shut down because it reaches over 500,000 people. So let me just say this. There is nobody that would run a fucking page with over 500,000 followers with my name and my face on it that I would let them have full free reign over. And me just say, oh, I don't run it. There's no way I would let someone have a social media page with almost 600,000 followers with my fucking name and my face on it and let them post whatever. Because let me just say this, if that really is the case, then shame the fuck on him even more. So, just saying, that's not the flex he thinks it is. That's like Trump standing on fucking Air Force One saying, I didn't know about it. I don't know about it, but Pete says he didn't do it. It's like every day Mike Johnson is asked about something and he goes, I haven't seen that. It's not the flex. It's not a flex. So, just saying. All right. I have one other thing. No, it wasn't. What I'm talking about is not Midas. If it's got your name and 600,000 followers, you need to do something about it. I do, Chris. So here's the question. Is Lisa or anybody in here who can, well, here's my thought. Because I need to get Bella in 7 minutes. Big Daddy V, I can see you. No, it is on the Facebook page, Chris. It is. That's exactly who it is on the Facebook. There's more than one, and this is what people need to understand. He can say that he doesn't run it, but he should absolutely be responsible and not let anybody else run it with his name and his yeah, on Facebook. Yes. Yes. And so that's what I'm saying. No, we're asking a question, MJV, and having discussion. That's what we're doing. And so let me just say this. It says in parentheses, you have to click on it to see that it says in parentheses, it says not Dean, quite frankly, but you have to click onto the actual profile page to see that. And if I were him, I wouldn't let people do that. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm asking a question and facilitating discussion. Like a question is not a suggestion. So no, my name is Dani, not girl. Let me just be clear. My name is Dani, not girl. No, the fuck it's not. A question is a question. Now, if you like to infer things from questions, to be argumentative, and that's the world you love to live in, then rock on. Just saying. People are wild today. People are wild. All right, so listen, here is the deal. I will be back here at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do the battle with Abu Sarraj. Right? There's no implication. No. Do you understand what a question mark means? Are you a real person? You can't be real. Are you a real person? You can't be real. Yeah, which like 5:30. I'm just saying she can't be real. It's got to be a bot. What's up, Jenna? Okay, listen, people. Why you're a liberal? I don't know what that means. What does if you're a liberal have to do anything with it? Liberals can act like assholes too. Like liberals can be just as big of a problem. Like right now, you arguing over a question that literally has a question mark. Okay, I gotta go get Bella, folks. I will be back later and we'll finish all of this. Okay.